The Aztecs, a Mesoamerican group that thrived from the 14th to 16th centuries, inherited cultural practices from their predecessors, the Mayans and Toltecs. They valued cleanliness and purity, which was reflected in their hygiene practices. When the Spanish arrived in the early 16th century, they were impressed by the Aztecs' cleanliness, which contrasted with European practices at the time. The Aztec Empire went to great lengths to provide clean water and promote hygiene using natural ingredients, which were intertwined with physical and spiritual considerations. Their canal system transported clean water around the cities, demonstrating their understanding of water's importance to all aspects of life. Canals in Tenochtitlan served both practical and transportation purposes. Hernan Cortés observed that the city had wide and narrow streets, as well as half canals for padding canoes. Some canals supplied fresh water and were equipped with networks for waste removal. Additionally, 2 aqueducts made of mortar supplied the city with fresh water. One aqueduct was used for drinking, while the other was used for cleaning. The Aztecs used canals and aqueducts to keep fresh and salt water apart for their daily needs and irrigation. They also had steam baths in their homes, called temescal, which were part of their culture and tradition. The water system was extensive, and steam baths were used for ritual purposes. These baths were made without windows and had heated floors with cold water. The timescale followed a Mesoamerican practice and was a vital aspect of Aztec life. The Aztecs used a temescal for physical and spiritual cleansing, aided by the goddess Tlazolteotl. They made natural soaps and detergents from local plants, such as Copolotl and amali, which had cleaning properties for the body and clothing. The amali plant, described as having long, narrow reeds, was a cleanser that removed hair and filth. The Aztecs didn't have modern soap, but they knew the cleansing benefits of various plants, roots, and fruits. During the Aztec period, cleanliness was both practical and ritualistic. The general population would bathe during the rainy month of Altquinhualo to honor Tlaloc. Merchants on long trips often avoided washing their hair, bodies, and clothing as a sign of sacrifice. Women didn't wash their faces while men were away fighting. Even sacrificial prisoners were given a bath before their execution. The Aztecs were also concerned with body odor and used perfumes and deodorants made from plants and oils to eliminate unpleasant smells. In Aztec society, patients received a flower and fruit perfume, while priests burned incense. The Florentine Codex, written by a Spanish friar, reveals that cleanliness was crucial for finding a husband. To maintain purity, young girls were instructed to wash their faces and hands and avoid makeup and painting. The Codex is a rare first-hand account of Aztec culture, providing insight into traditional customs. Fathers advised their daughters to dress well, keep clean, and shun makeup if they wanted to be loved by their future husbands. Sahagún notes that courtesans adorned themselves with makeup and perfumes, such as the brightening Axine cream and occasional rouge. Women generally used makeup moderately, with Axine being the most prevalent cosmetic, a yellow mud applied to the skin. Aztec field surgeons were praised for their skillful treatment of wounded soldiers and their ability to heal them faster than Spanish surgeons. Their medical expertise extended to everyday life, with priests and healers using natural products such as oils and herbs to treat a variety of ailments. Aztec healers were trained in using herbal remedies to treat everything from headaches to infections, and even used hair to suture cuts and scrapes. Natural products such as juice from the nopal cactus fruit and bark from the ixtile tree were used to treat swelling, inflammation, and fever. Friar Bernardino de Sahagún documented an Aztec casting process that involved the use of splints and plaster made from the gum of the ocote tree, resin, and feathers. The Aztecs also maintained oral hygiene by using wood ash, honey, salt, and urine. Fresh breath was achieved by chewing gum made from the sapodillo tree's chicle and butamen. However, Friar Bernardino found the gum to be tiring and headache-inducing. To relieve toothaches and infections, Aztec dentists may have utilized a combination of vinegar and rattlesnake venom to extract teeth. Though they could use charcoal to alleviate tooth problems, extraction became necessary in severe cases. Before pulling a tooth, dentists would apply a blend of vinegar and snake venom to lessen the pain. After extraction, a mixture of herbs was applied to safeguard and treat the open wound. Additionally, Aztec dentists would file teeth, fill cavities, and adorn incisors with precious stones. Meanwhile, women in the sex trade would color their teeth either red or black to differentiate themselves. Due to laws prohibiting the disposal of sewage and water sources, public workers in Aztec cities would gather human waste or night soil daily. This waste was then transported via canoe to fields and gardens for agricultural use. The practice of collecting night soil served several purposes for the Aztec Empire, including maintaining cleanliness by preventing excrement from polluting lakes and canals, reducing unnecessary waste, and providing essential fertilizer to the Chinampas, floating parcels of land used for growing many of their crops. To prevent the water supply from being contaminated with human waste, a complex system of canals and aqueducts was implemented. Public toilets were also installed along the regularly swept streets of Tenochtitlan. The convenience of these networks in cities helped maintain cleanliness in heavily populated areas. The detritus and dirt that accumulated after sweeping the streets could easily be disposed of in canals designated for waste removal. For the Aztecs, keeping the environment clean was vital for maintaining societal order. Women made it a daily routine to sweep their homes as a sign of respect for their domestic space, and priests swept temples and schools to ward off any unwelcome or potentially dangerous influences. In addition, the city had public restrooms that collected waste to use as fertilizer or dispose of through canals and waterways. Barbershops were also available for men to get haircuts and hair washing, while women could dye their hair at home. During Friar Sahagun's exploration of Tenochtitlan, he witnessed barbershops that locals visited for grooming services. There were noticeable diversity in the hairstyles of men in the Aztec Empire. The clergy maintained long and occasionally sooty locks, whereas commoners kept their hair short. Young boys had their hair cut until the age of 10, after which they grew a section of hair on the back of their heads. This patch was only shaved once they demonstrated their prowess as a warrior. Women had the option to dye their hair using black mud or zayaquitl, a green herb that produced a shimmering purple effect. Some women opted to shave their heads entirely, while older women, particularly mothers, tied their long hair at the nape of their neck with a cord. Feasting among the Aztecs began and concluded with clean hands. Typically, 2 meals were consumed daily, breakfast and an afternoon supper. However, those belonging to the upper class had the opportunity to indulge in evening feasts accompanied by entertainment and extravagance. Prior to fine dining, guests were provided with water to cleanse their hands, after which the meal was served. Following the meal, they washed their hands and mouths once again after being served cocoa and pipes. The ruler Moctezuma, recognized for his commitment to personal hygiene, participated in this ceremony with his guests. Meanwhile, stunning and immaculate women presented him with water for his hands in a basin referred to as the kells. In conclusion, the Aztecs had fascinating hygiene practices that were both practical and ritualistic. Their advanced water system and steam baths were used for physical and spiritual cleansing. They also created natural soaps and detergents from local plants, demonstrating their emphasis on cleanliness and purity. Although some of their hygiene practices may seem too disgusting to fathom, it is fascinating to learn how they managed to maintain impeccable hygiene practices during the 14th to 16th centuries. It is an eye-opening experience to see how other civilizations lived and what customs and traditions they practiced. Thank you for watching this video on the hygiene practices during the Aztec Empire. We hope this video has been informative and enlightening, and if you have any thoughts or opinions on the topic, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more fascinating and surprising happenings in our history. See you in our next video.